Hi everybody, I am here today chatting with Jenn Pusatier. Jenn is one of the leaders and facilitators of GI Squared, that's Grand Ideas for Grand Island. We want to just take a couple of minutes today to remind you about a really important meeting that's going to happen tomorrow night, Thursday, at 7 o'clock at Town Hall. As most of you know, we live just across the river from Tonawanda Coke. And Tonawanda Coke was, and hopefully is no longer, one of the biggest polluters in our area, not only in our area, but across the country. In 2013, a jury found Tonawanda Coke guilty of breaking 14 environmental laws, including emitting benzene 75 times the amount that the EPA allows. It's a big problem. A lot of people in the area, in Tonawanda, Kenmore, Grand Island, have a lot of issues because of that. What was so monumental about this jury verdict is not only was Tonawanda Coke fined, but they've been ordered to fund 2 studies. One of them is a soil study, and one of them is a health study. And this is something that is going to have a big impact on our town as well. This is something that Jenn has been following really closely because she realizes what a big deal this is. So I've invited her, right? She actually set up this meeting tomorrow, so we should thank her for doing that because we really need to arm ourselves with more information. Jenn, can you just explain to us what this meeting is about and why you called this together?
So last winter in December, Jackie James Creedon, through Citizen Science, had a meeting. It was on a Saturday at the town hall, and I've been trying to get a little bit more involved in the town, trying to follow things more. My kids are getting older, so I've been trying to get more involved and follow things. So I saw this meeting come up, and it caught my attention because it had to do with the Coke plant, and anybody that's lived on Grand Island pretty much has heard about the ongoings that have been happening at the Coke plant throughout the years. So I was interested in that, and it also caught my eye because Jackie shares some of the same health issues that I do with fibromyalgia. So because of that, I was even more interested to go and see what she had to say.
And we have a high, not to interrupt, but we have a high concentration of a lot of autoimmune problems, cancer, colon cancer.
Yep. Thyroid cancer is 81% higher here in females than it is across the country.
And I think they said that colon cancer was also, we have maybe
25,
the highest concentration
one
of
of the
colon
highest.
cancer.
Yep.
So if you guys are sitting there and you are some of the people that are affected by some of these ailments, and maybe you didn't always suffer from that, and now you have over the last, say, 10 years, you might wonder why.
Right.
And you should pay attention, and this is a meeting that you should come to. So anyway, I
Right.
didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, that's fine. So when I was almost overwhelmed, and Jackie had given us a lot of information. There were professors from UB that were there that explained a lot of everything, and I walked out of there surprised, the fact that
overwhelmed.
Yes, that I didn't really understand the impact that this had on Grand Island, and how much this is, so many of our neighbors and residents on Grand Island have been breathing this in for years.
Exactly. And one of the things, since I was at that meeting too, one of the things that they talked about, yes, obviously there was a huge amount of air pollution that's gone up, but what goes up must come down. And there's a real worry that our land is contaminated.
Right,
so
the benzenes that have come over, they're not water soluble. So no matter how much you're watering your lawn, you're doing this or that. Yes, on one level it's a good thing. On another thing, it's something that has to be cleaned up if the levels are at, so high. They're not just going to wash away and go into the ground and be gone.
Right. So from what I understand of these studies that are going to take place, at least with the soil study, we have to figure out, is the land contaminated? And yes, if it is contaminated, how much is it contaminated? And then there will be steps that can be put in place to remediate the land. Do you know
Right, well,
Did
what
she
they're
talk
gonna,
about-
the big push that originally when Jackie came is that they're gonna need volunteers, and they wanna get all this information out to, everybody that they think that could have been impacted by Coke. So what they're gonna start to do now, because of the lawsuit that was filed, is that they're gonna start at as far as Grand Island goes, the southeastern part of Grand Island. And they're going to do soil studies and properties. They're going to come and ask you. They can't go on your property without your permission. And they're going to take a small soil sample from a yard, about a 2-inch round circle from an undisturbed part of your yard. And they're going to take that back and they're going to test it. And with all of those samples, they're going to try to form a grid as to if there's any hot spots on the island, where it's located, and go from there. But until those are done, we really don't know what's sitting here. There was an air monitor that was placed on Grand Island back between '06 and '07 for a year. It was put on the southern end of the island, and it was put there because they thought that the air, it would be clean air coming from Grand Island. They thought that most of the air, heads from Coke through Tonawanda and through that way. They did not think that Grand Island would be so high. When it came back, there was 75%, like Kelly had said, benzene higher than the EPA allows. So
Right.
that's super concerning. So with the soil study and then the health study, for people that live in that area, or this
And
is
by the way, the area southeast or Grand Island, it's where I live.
Yeah.
Ferry Village, North Colony, that portion along East River Road that's before the South Bridge and Beaver Island.
Right.
Well, and probably a little bit past
from the
that
map
as
that
well.
I could tell. The best way I guess you could explain it is from the Beaver Island Parkway up to Harvey. That's kind of where she kind of had the dots and where their starting point is.
Yeah, so that's where the starting point will be. And from what we understand so far, they will start in the neighborhoods in this area and test, and then keep testing to see, branch out as
Right.
it's needed. Or, maybe they won't have to go too far. Or maybe they'll start and hopefully,
Yeah, it'll be
Hopefully
one
the test
little
will be
tiny
okay.
corner. I mean,
Yeah.
as unfortunate as that is, and you don't want it to, it's impacting.
who's
but,
coming to the meeting tomorrow?
So tomorrow, Jackie James Creedon will be there. She's going to come and she's going to explain as to exactly what happened, where we are now, and what she's asking for the public to do to help her. She's been, if it wasn't for Jackie, there's a very good possibility that we'd still be
right.
breathing this in. She's a mom who was at home, started talking to her neighbors. She's in Tonawanda, started noticing that the air didn't smell right. She decided to go take a Home Depot 5-gallon bucket and collecting air samples and had it
Literally.
tested. Yeah, and had it tested. And through that, when all the levels came back so high, that's how she brought that to the EPA and the DEC,
Right.
and that's how this all got started. So
And it's
because of her,
amazing that these tests that she started carrying buckets
Yeah.
Ended with, one of the most historical cases that we've seen. This verdict was only the second in U.S. history that a company has been convicted under the Clean Air Act.
yes, it's
So,
1970.
yeah.
So yeah. So she'll be there. She's
Okay.
going to go through everything. She's going to give out lots of information.
And they have
mm-hmm.
lots of brochures and things that we got at the last meetings, and they'll have probably fact sheets
Yep.
like these, but a lot more details, because I think, like Jen said, it's still kind of a grassroots effort.
Right.
So we need to participate.
My feeling is that, I'm just trying to be the messenger through Grand Island, and my face, people that know me, my friends that know me, trying to get it out that I can help Jackie. Her and her group through Citizen Science has already done so much for us through Grand Island, helping us do
Right.
this, that if I can get this out in any way and try to get the most people as I can informed, and then they can decide what they feel they'd like to do or how to get involved.
Right. And remember,
that's-
there's
yeah.
two facets to this. There's the soil study and the health study. So you can sign up to take part in the health study.
The health
as well.
study, they're looking for up to, I think, 36,000 people to get
Right.
involved in that health study. And it's being,
My opinion, everybody that lives here should just,
yeah, it's
just-
being
we are
funded
so
by
close.
Coke, who made this mess.
Right.
So, we're holding them accountable to what they did. So if anything, and it can be past and present as far as the health study goes. If if you've had health issues and you moved off the island a few years ago or whatnot, and you think maybe that you were impacted by this, you're more than welcome to contact them. What they're going to do is first give you a questionnaire with some questions, and then they'll go from there. And from what I understand, after that questionnaire, they might want to take possibly a blood and a urine sample. But all of this is going through UB and SUNY Fredonia, through a lot of their professors and doctors, and they have facilities set up there. Citizen Science has their own office now. So it's a pretty big thing. So that's why, like I said, I was really thrown back by when I left that meeting in December. And I try to think that I'm involved and try to pay attention. And I didn't know this was going on. So I try to do what I can. And
there could
my
be a
best,
bigger environmental impact here than most people
yes.
realize.
I hope not. But until we test and find out, we won't know.
Battery.
Yeah. So.
Is there anything else you want to add? I mean, I guess we can't stress enough for you guys to try and come out and attend this meeting in person. It's really important to hear these details.
Yeah, I think it's really, for the case and the lawsuit and the fact that this is happening in our backyard, some of our own very front yards, Callie included, I think this is a huge thing that, everyone should be following and trying to get involved in if they can.
I know if people like me that live down on the south end that would walk outdoors at times and go, what is that smell? And you just, it was just a very chemical type of smell, and it depending on the direction of the wind, it didn't affect us as most because the wind trail usually is going the other way.
Yeah.
But you just think that can't be healthy.
Right. And people had said it for years, and people had commented for years, all, news and everybody had commented for years what was coming out of those stacks over there. And it wasn't until Jackie, she really put her feet into the ground, and she did a lot for us. So,
So
I'm
this
hoping,
is the second phase, and, trying to figure out, okay, what is in the ground now? And do we need to get it out?
Right.
So, again, tell us what time the meeting is.
So 7 o'clock tomorrow at Town Hall. Jackie will be there, and she'll have a presentation, and there'll be lots of information, and there'll be a question and answer. So it's not going to be, you're not just going to go.
Questions.
Yeah, you're going to have an opportunity to ask any questions you want. So hopefully it'll get the word out, and we can start to bring an end or whatnot, help with
But we
what's
have to
what's
start
happened.
somewhere.
Right.
So again, thanks to Jen for setting this meeting up for Grand Island. I appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll all appreciate it when we learn more tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll see you all tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Town Hall.
All right, thanks.